What's going on, guys? Matt Everett here with Lethal Camaro, and today I am doing an install video for the GM Performance Cold Air Intake, aka Cold Air Inductions Cold Air Intake. This is going to be a really simple install for those of you out there who just need the nitty-gritty on how to get your old or your stock intake out and the new one in. This is going to be the guide for you. Let's get right on into it. First and foremost, you will need a stock Camaro. Oh wait, this one's not stock. It's got a that E85 fuel sensor. Anyways, whatever. You have your stock intake. This thing, it comes out literally in a couple screws and a Maf Sensor pull. Simply easy. There's going to be a couple tools you need. I'm using some larger size vice grip, flathead screwdriver, 10mm socket, and I believe this is a T15 and a T10, and those are to loosen the Maf Sensor on the new GM Performance Cold Air Intake, and the T15 is for the lid, to be able to remove the lid quickly for that intake. So let's get into removing the stock intake, and yeah, let's do this. Step one in removing the stock cold air intake is literally removing it from the throttle body. So there is a flathead bolt here that loosens, and this literally will pull off, and that disconnects it from the car. Now, if you're crazy smart or you're super worried, you would disconnect the negative terminal that's in your trunk. That's literally just using a 9mm socket, undoing it. In my instance, we don't have water, we don't have any issues. I'm literally just pulling the Maf Sensor right on out. So there's a little clip on the bottom side. You want to pull that all the way out, and you'll push in, and that pulls right out. That's basically the bulk of the things you need to remove outside of this clip here. This is for your return PVC. So if you're ever wondering, this little box right here, this is GM's backside catch can. Yeah, so that's loose, that's there. Actually, we do need to release, so this is your sound tube. If you just loosen this right on up, this pipe comes right on out, and we'll get into pulling this off and this piece off in a minute. But that basically disconnects your tubing from the vehicle. Now, your air box here is literally sitting in grommets, and this just pulls right on out. Like I said, super easy to remove. I forgot about this clip. Okay, sorry. There's a clip for the sound tube. See? Even I forget things like this. But it comes out in one giant piece. So we'll just set this right here for right now. So as you can see in the car, it opens a big gaping hole. Now in this instance, the GM Performance Cold Air Intake does not remove the sound tube, it does connect, so we will need to pull the tube off over there. There is a catch tube as well that we need to carry over that this will plug into, and it will plug right on into this setup here. So in the GM Performance setup, they do have the clips already in place. I think we'll probably have to loosen these. They feel pretty loose, so we'll probably be able to slide it in and then just tighten it down. So your PVC catch here, and then your sound tube goes in here. So let's go ahead and pull those off the stock setup. And we have to break those. So to break these clips, and these are clips that are non-reusable, but you'll see there's you can literally slide a flathead screwdriver in here, and this head might be too big. See how that clamp just came right on off? You pull that piece out. This should be loose enough. There we go. So we need these two pieces off, and then we will have to unscrew the Maf housing. We are not going to reuse these screws, so I'm literally going to put them right back in. So if for whatever reason, if there's emission issues or whatever else, we won't have those lost. And literally I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to lay it down very gently, because you do not want to mess up your Maf sensor. Okay, so Maf sensor I'm just going to set to the side right now. On this side, I want to put in the sound tube. So this just goes right in here. And then this piece slides right in there. And I like to hide these so you don't actually see the clip. So I'm gonna put it on the bottom side here. And this is where my vice grips come in handy. Open these wide. And clip that in. So when it's looking down, it looks nice and clean. So on this side, usually what I'll do is I'll tighten the sound tube setup, so you'll see it sits flush with the top of the rubber. And this, I usually don't want to go too high because this does have like a little nipple on the bottom side. And I'll line this up so it sits underneath, so again you're not seeing this huge plastic chunk. Just get that nice and tight, and we're good to go. So that's set up. So we're going to set this to the side really quick. There's a couple differences from the standard Cold Air Inductions intake. You do get this wrap with 2 zip ties. This literally wraps around your HVAC line like so. And it'll take you a second to kind of get it lined up and fold it over each other so it looks pretty. And I'm going to pretend like it looks really good right now. There you go. But we'll zip tie that in place. I got to use a pair of scissors to cut those, but I think it looks pretty good. Now the other side is come over here, Mr. Camera. We are going to reuse this. Now this is different from the Cold Air Induction side. So we're actually carrying this over, and follow me. So we're going to be carrying this over, and as you'll see, there is a spot for this to plug into on the box. But this will end up holding your sound tube back in place. Okay, so back to this side. So one thing you'll notice in your package is you're going to get this. This is a spacer. The whole primary purpose of this is to eliminate the whistle. So for those of you who followed the Cold Air Induction setup, this came around after the release of the Cold Air Inductions to eliminate the whistle that is created actually by the throttle body. It has nothing to do with the cold air intake. So Cold Air Inductions actually created a piece that eliminates an issue that GM technically oversaw, but in reality the GM cold air intake that's over there, because it's like a heavy plastic, it muted the sound. So we'll go ahead and open this up. So you have 2 gaskets on there. You are going to get new bolts because it makes it thicker, so you need a longer bolt to make sure you get proper connectivity. Get rid of the plastic. So this gasket literally sits right inside this groove. But this gasket is basically to create an an airtight seal. Those are the words I'm looking for. So there you go, pretty simple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off the throttle body. Now this is where you need your 10mm socket. And seriously, this gasket is made to basically strip away the sound or the whistle, the awkward flow of air. So we'll set this to the side for now. And so this spacer, see how the bottom flow is here? This is to allow that airflow to go through, but it splits it to stop that whistle sound. Now, if you like the whistle sound, you can leave that. But see here, see the spacer here? They included an extra one, thank goodness. But if yours has a nice spacer, this is still a fairly brand new car that we're putting this on, so we don't need to replace it. But that literally goes right on there. Throttle body, and your car's hot. Don't burn your fingers. And then we'll just start threading the new bolts. Make sure you grab your new bolts and not the stock ones, because these new ones are a little bit longer. to make up for that spacer. So next step, now that we got the gasket in there, it's really, let's put the Maf sensor in, but I noticed one thing that's missing, and this is one thing you guys need to understand. The stock box that we pulled out sometimes likes to pull this grommet with it. So if we come over here to this box, either it's still on here or it fell into the bottom of the car, which I'm gonna go with, it's still on here. So don't forget this grommet. I noticed when I first did my first install, it like sneakily fell like down in here and it disappeared. So make sure that grommet's there, because that's what's gonna keep it from vibrating and sounding like caca. So in here, GM Performance does provide you unique screws. Again, do not reuse the screws that come on your stock one. Use the ones that come in here. It's very important. Mainly the ones in the GM setup, they're longer. And there's only one way you can put this in. Primarily it lines up, so if you see, just for the sake of showing you, if I stick this in there, you'll see the screw holes don't line up there. So you know it goes in this way. And luckily, they do put a marker, so there's a tab here that shows for alignment, and we'll line that up with the marker that's on the housing as well. That's very important that you follow that, because that places the Maf sensor in the proper position. And if your Maf sensor is not in the proper position, that can cause check engine lights, and that's no fun. So we got that in place, so Maf sensor's in there. So I think next step, we're gonna drop the box in. The box is actually really easy. So we've already put this piece on here, showed you how to do that. You'll see these metal rods here, and then the front one, where is it hiding? And the inside, they all line up with the grommets that we were just talking about. So we're gonna line these up, get that in the hole, get that in the hole. This one's in the hole, and literally just push down. And it's seated in the grommets. We're good to go there. So now we can put this sound tube in position. It's not gonna be perfectly aligned with where that clip originally was, so just highlight that there. But this will hold the tube so it stays out of position, so it's not rubbing and flapping around other things, which is a nice add. So another thing to highlight, and if you can bring the camera around this way. So another thing to highlight is this marker right in here. So it's actually a little hole in the box. That's where this hole lines up with. So when we put this in here, we want to make sure that this hole, or this mark and this mark, line up, because that is what positions your Maf sensor. So make sure you line this mark here with this mark here. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera nicely. So you may be like, how are you supposed to get the filter and all that stuff in there? Well, we're gonna use our T15, and these are spring actuated, so you know when they're unlocked because they lift up. And this just lifts up, and we're gonna set this right here. And this gives us full working position. And we'll notice this didn't seat in the grommet properly, so push it in there, we're good to go. So that's now seated properly. Now we need to get the air filter. So I've always start on the air filter side and work my way towards the inside. And I always like to hide the bolts. So this air filter, they actually have it a little bit tight. So I'm gonna loosen this a little bit just to make sure I have a little bit of play, because I want this to freely glide. And I'm just gonna set this down in here for now. And now we're gonna get the Maf sensor lined up. So there's our mark there, there's our mark here. So that's sitting there nice. So I'm gonna leave that loose, but now we need to grab the other piece. And again, these are on here not loosely, so you're gonna have to loosen them up a little bit, because you need a little bit of flexibility getting over the metal lip on your throttle body, and also getting over this metal lip here. You need that play. It's funny to see the packaging difference between the standard Cold Air Inductions and the GM Performance version. I'm not complaining about it, but just funny to see. So this one was shifted in a way to where you would never get to the flathead screwdriver or the flathead screw. So I shifted it over, and this one's in a pretty good spot, but I'll probably rotate this a little more down once we actually get it in position. So in this instance, I'm gonna get the throttle body on first. Hopefully I loosened it enough. And oh, my shoulder sucks right now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to loosen it a little bit more. There we go. Now I'll rotate it down. And this is where did I get this on too far? Oh man, this engine's hot. So I've loosened the filter a little bit to give me some play to get this portion in. And now okay, slight flaw, sorry guys. So I've taken the filter off. I've taken the clamp off the filter, and now I'm sliding it onto this tube. So that's in place because I had forgotten the filter actually goes all the way through, and this part of the filter sits flush with everything else. Everything just, it wasn't lining up, and I was like, why is that? And I was like, oh yeah. So there you go. So it sits in there like that. Now we can get this clamp up over the edge. And I know you guys will be like, yo, you didn't cut those zip ties. I have clear view to cut the zip ties down here. So don't freak out yet. There we go. Get that position that way. And now we just need to make sure that this dot is aligned. So I'm literally just rotating. There we go. It's aligned. I'm gonna go ahead and connect this. Make sure to slide the plastic clip on the bottom back in place. And this is a little tight now, so we'll loosen this. Get this up in position. Sorry, I'm like OCD, so I want everything lined up. Sorry, guys. Now we want to tighten up at the throttle body. Now, the biggest mistake most people do is they don't verify that the tube is actually seated all the way around the throttle body. And you can see here, this one's kind of bowing out at the bottom. So I'm just pushing down on it a little bit to make sure that we have a nice tight fit. You may think, oh, a 1/16 of an inch is not a big deal. Yeah, that MAF housing being out of place by a 1/16 of an inch, that could be a check engine light. Okay, so we can hook this up. It's just a snap. And sorry, I have no strength in my shoulder right now. There we go. We can snap that back in place. We'll need our vice grip to be able to get this one back on. There we go. Make sure our dot is lined up. Bam. Okay, so final step here. Can peel off the paper protectant. Now this is like super staticky and it's going to attract all sorts of dust. And when sliding this in, I always start with the front part so it tucks underneath this plastic lip and under here. And then where's my... And you'll know it's in the right position when you push down, so this one still needs to slide down and over. done. Okay, now it's cleanup time. It's installed. GM Performance, cold air intake. Let's hear this thing start up. Make sure that's connected. I think we're good. I just need to trim those. They're not going to hit anything, but we'll do it. Go for it. Can I get a couple of revs? One more. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good. The install is complete. I think I need to touch on a few things here. And I'm sorry, it's like 90 degrees out here still. It looks like it is a beautiful day in California, by the way, but I'm hot. I'm standing over a hot, Greg drove straight here and I literally opened his hood and started working on it, so it's warm. But just so you guys know, this product was provided by that GM parts guy. Link is down below in the description. They, from what I've seen, have the best prices for this product, so make sure to check it out. Now, a few things here. This product does come with a tune. That tune does not provide any performance increases. From what we understand and from what people are reporting back, it sounds like it's mostly for emissions. Now, this device is 37 state legal. Now, if you guys want more in-depth detail around that, check out my unboxing video, upper right-hand corner. But that being said, there are some states that you could buy this product and that GM parts guy will ship to you wherever you live. But do know that this product is 37 state legal. What does that mean? That means if you're in a state that is not legal for this product, you cannot go to your dealer to get a tune. Just straight up, your dealer will not be able to get a tune because GM prohibits them from being able to download the file because they're in a state that this product is not approved for. Now, can you drive to a state that is approved for it? I don't know. I don't know if people have been able to get away with that. Usually they look at the registration. I'm sure dealers from other states will be like, yo, you're from a state that's not supposed to have this. They might do it if you slip them maybe a couple bigger bills, but you know. But that all being said, the other thing I want to highlight is GM, I don't know what they're doing within their back-end system, because originally this was posted as a 16, 17, 18 device. When it was installed on someone's car earlier, and this is secondhand knowledge, I'm sharing it with you guys, GM came back and said, oh, you have the wrong product on the car. That product's only for 17 and 18. They raised a ticket on the GM backend. GM then came back 24 hours later saying, okay, the product's for 16, 17 and not for 18. I don't even know. But basically the guy who did do the tune, when they first put it on the car, his car was like running really rough. It just was not right. They let it sit. They reset the ECU. So they pulled the negative terminal on it. And once it reset, they started it back up and the car was running perfectly fine. So if your dealer runs into this issue, make sure to check that GM Parts Guy website. The link for this product, again, it's down below in the description. There is a GM ticket with all the information that your dealer needs so that they can contact GM and make sure that they get the right information or know that they're doing it properly, or at least the open ticket number. Because basically GM's backend is basically stating they don't know what this product is for. Is it for the 16-17? Is it for the 17-18? Is it for the 16-17-18? Is it for this? I don't know. So if you get frustrated or you're having issues, again, head to that GM Parts Guy website and check out that detail. But outside of that, if you're in a state that is not part of the 37 state legal states, and it is listed on the GM website, you're not gonna be able to buy this, or you're not gonna be able to get the tune for this product. You can buy it, that GM parts guy is gonna ship it to you, but you won't be able to get the tune. So maybe you go get a custom tune, I don't know. But I know there's a lot of guys out there who have been waiting for this product so that they have a GM performance part, so it's all under warranty. Your product should still be under warranty, and if you don't have the tune, it is what it is. But GM will warranty this product because it is a GM performance part. But outside of that, it looks really good. It is the cold air induction system. Again, I mentioned this in my unboxing video. I'm a little shocked that they have their own product and a GM based product. I will say the GM install does come with some other custom bits and pieces that I would say make this kit a little more high end than the standard cold air induction setup, such as carrying over the clip for the the sound tube and the wrapping on the HVAC line. But outside of that, it's a really clean install. It's going to add power just straight up bolting on. You're not going to get check engine lights straight bolting this on. It's really good. I don't know, Greg, when you started your car, you seen your check engine lights?
No, sir.
Perfect. So there you go. So if you guys are interested in the GM Performance cold air intake, again, you know it's the GM Performance because it has a Chevy Performance logo with the blue filter. That's how you can tell the difference between the Cold Air Inductions and this one. Check it out, that GM Parts guy. Again, link is down below in the description. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments below. But outside of that, thank you for checking out this install guide. As always, if you guys have any questions, I always respond as soon as I can. Make sure to like, comment, share on the video. If not, it's all good. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Check out Lethal Swag down below in the description. And if I don't see you in the next video, I do hope to see you on the road.